Learning sign language reveals shocking truth about my mom's relationship. My mom's been involved with this new guy for a few months now. To be fair, enough time has passed for me to stop referring to him as the new guy. But he's not my dad, and I guess that will always make him feel like the new guy. According to movie logic, I'm supposed to hate him for trying to replace my father or whatever. But the truth is, I like him. I like him so much that I've been learning how to use sign language to improve our communication because new guy happens to be deaf. John and Nguyen, he can read lips, which is how I've been communicating with him. My mom didn't waste any time learning sign language at the beginning of their romance, and she's at the point now where she can have full conversations without using her voice. I was really proud of her, and so was new guy. I'm not on their level yet, but I've had enough practice to follow a conversation that's not too complicated. My plan was to surprise new guy on his birthday, which is 2 months from now, and wish him a happy birthday, as well as officially welcoming him to the family in sign language. However, I never factored in the amount of dirty talk my mom and new guy were having in sign language. Not knowing that I can understand them, my mom and new guy have gotten disturbingly comfortable exposing their sex life in my company. It didn't matter if we were at the dinner table or watching TV, I would constantly catch so many dirty descriptions being communicated between the two of them. They are worse than horny teenagers, and I should know I am one. No 17-year-old son should ever witness his mother use her fingers to demonstrate how wet her vagina is. It's gotten to the point where I'm no longer willing to wait until new guy's birthday to make it known that I can understand sign language, because holy fuck, I need my eyes to not see this shit anymore. This is an ongoing fuck up. Update 1. Instead of informing new guy and my mom that I've been learning sign language on the side, I decided to ask new guy to personally teach me sign language in his free time. That way, no one needs to know, other than thousands of strangers on the internet, that I understood my mom and new guy whenever they were talking dirty. It was the best approach I could think of that would encourage new guy and my mom to keep their sign language non-sexual around me and spare us all an awkward situation. That being said, I didn't let them off the hook that easily. My first sign language lesson with new guy happened 2 days ago. He's actually a really good sign language teacher when he's not being seduced by my mom. He even promised to teach me swear words. Towards the end of the lesson, I asked him about some of the things I've seen my mom sign to him. In order to sell how new I was to sign language, I first had to pretend struggle how to make the wet vagina sign in front of new guy. It was almost impossible to keep a straight face when I noticed the growing horror in new guy's eyes as soon as he realized what I was trying to communicate. He was quick to intervene and prevent me from finishing the vagina sign, which prompted him to reveal one of his first golden rules: no skipping ahead to pro-level sign language. Apparently, my mom's vagina falls under advanced sign language skills and therefore will not be addressed at all. Speaking of my mom, she's been keeping her sign language relatively safe for son, since my interest in learning sign language went public. However, this morning I did catch her complimenting new guy's butt in sign language. It was weird because now that she knows I'm learning, she feels the need to teach me too. And based on what happened this morning, she seems to think it's hilarious to teach me words like nice ass. Just when I thought I had the upper hand. This is still an ongoing fuck up, but not as bad as before. I hope. Update 2. Something happened to me that was the complete opposite of a fuck up. I met a girl. We're the same age and go to the same school. We're not in love with each other just yet, but our relationship have become serious enough that we're considering to have sex. I have to add that one of the things my GF loves about me is my sign language skills, albeit below beginner level. She knows all about my sign language adventure so far. I've even introduced her to my mom and new guy. Speaking of new guy, my sign language lessons with him have been going so well that I decided to pass on what I've been learning to my GF, who would occasionally ask me to teach her new words in sign language. That being said, since my GF and I started talking about sleeping together, we also started talking dirty, usually by saying what was on our minds or using sign language to demonstrate what was on our minds. Those of you who read my previous posts are probably getting flashbacks right now of me catching my mom and new guy using adults only sign language in my company when they thought I was unable to understand. Focus on that flashback and just replace my mom with my GF, new guy with me, and the observer, which was originally me, but now being my mother. That was more or less the situation earlier in the week when my mom caught me teaching my GF dirty words in sign language. My GF and I were hanging out in the living room, and my mom was resting in her room, My mom's kidneys are not in the best condition, and twice a week she needs to go for dialysis. The day of this fuck up happened to be one of her dialysis days, so when she came home, she just wanted to sleep. Usually my mom sleeps all afternoon after dialysis, which made me think I could get away with teaching my GF the ABCs of sign language, anal, blowjob, and cunnilingus. My GF couldn't help but laugh out loud a few times, and I think one of those times it might have woken up my mom and prompted her to check up on us. However, I never heard my mom come downstairs or noticed her watching us. She never made her presence known. I only found out about it during my recent sign language lesson with New Guy. It was my first time seeing him look emotionally exhausted. He made me read something he wrote on his iPad. It stated that my mom appreciated his willingness to teach me sign language, but she's upset at him for teaching me words that made her uncomfortable, especially now that I'm using the inappropriate words that I've learned from him to also teach my GF. There was a lot more to read, but it basically boiled down to New Guy apologizing for upsetting my mom and for any lines he might have crossed with me during our lessons before ending it off with a question that I knew was coming. Where did you actually learn those words? I panicked and told him everything. The secret sign language school I've been attending in order to eventually surprise him on his birthday, catching him and my mom dirty talking, pretending to know nothing about sign language when I asked him to teach me. It all came out. New Guy seemed shocked, disturbed, impressed, amused, touched, all at once. I apologized for creating tension between him and my mom and promised to tell my mom everything I've told him if it meant clearing the atmosphere. New Guy accepted my apology and thanked me for going through so much trouble to give him such a thoughtful birthday gift. He also apologized on behalf of himself and my mom for exposing me to their spicy sign language. We hugged it out and agreed that he was going to explain things to my mom in private, but leave out the part about me catching the two of them behaving like horny teenagers in front of me. For my mom's sake. It kind of worked out in the end. Yesterday, my mom said she was proud of me for managing to balance school and sign language classes back to back. However, she made me promise to keep the sign language PG with my GF, at least until I'm old enough to behave however I wanted under my own roof. Hopefully my mom never connects the dots and realizes how long I've been able to understand sign language LOL. The end. Fingers crossed.